Welcome everyone to a new video on the Alien Algo channel. This will be a new segment I will be bringing to the channel. It will be simply a daily market outlook. So, without more being said, I want to keep this as short as possible. So, let's simply look at the current levels. As we know, this was our previous all-time high, which we have broken, and we seem to be holding those previous highs, as shown right there. What are we currently doing? We are building a new range. So, with this range, we of course want to bid the lows and sell the highs or play the breakout. Because the thing, of course, if you were positioned right here, you can take a little bit of profit right here, expecting it to go down. And in the case of it breaking up, you can just simply add back to the position. Because the way to make profit is, of course, to take profit. So we simply have this current resistance, which correlates with the 0.75 level of that range. We also have this previous support, which there is, of course, always a chance we first fill this before we break out from this and get into those extension levels. So this will simply be it for BTC. As we see, simply the range is just ranging, like BTC always likes to do. So this is our resistance point as of now, and this is our support area as of now. The thing I expect that we simply just keep breaking up, because I'm positioned from right there, and if we simply break up, I will most likely be adding a little bit to the position, expecting the break. And if we go down, I will be glad to enter right here again. So, without more being said, let's get into ETH. ETH, I am way more bullish on ETH than on BTC. With, of course, me expecting BTC to trade higher as well, but when we just simply look at ETH, this just should rally even harder, since this is lagging behind. As we've known, BTC already made its all-time high, ETH has not. So, for ETH, it's a very similar situation. We are looking at this previous consolidation with these lows. We have reclaimed those lows, and we are not at those highs yet. As you can see, we've of course mapped out this range again, and the extension levels. As you can see, when you look at the extension levels, they correlate with previous price points. When you look to the left hand side, here again, and of course these also correlate with previous price points. So for ETH, as I said before, I am way more bullish on ETH than on BTC as of now. I simply expect this also to break out from the range. And when we do, we will be looking at these extension levels right here. If we look at the scanners, because now we've had the TA part. When we look at the daily trend scanner, we see something very important happening. This, of course, flipped a while back, and we are looking to hold it right there. We are currently at the blue lines. Usually we trade in between these before any big moves happen. Let me just show you a quick example for that, being right here. So of course, remember this little part of price action. First we trade in between, later we get a flip, and the massive rally started. As you can see, from the downside, we range in between them, and we get to cross towards the downside. Well, for BTC, it's quite simple. We are up, and for our ETH, we are barely getting above them. If we've seen what it did previously, here we see the big break towards the upside. I simply expect something similar. And then you can of course say yes, but now it looks a little different. But look at what is happening. The bands are compressing. They are getting closer to each other right here. I will simply forecast something like this, where the bands also start to compress. And if we are looking at the 4-hour, this is already happening, with us being at the top wave. So I expect when this breaks out, it will most likely be violent, because you can see this is the last time this has crossed. That was quite an aggressive move. And here, of course, we've seen this is almost the exact same when we look at this little part right there. So guys, without more being said, let's only take a look at this last chart, because this is currently the most important chart. And the way I tend to use this is when the cluster happens. So with a cluster, I mean the waves getting close to each other, it becomes very strong. And we've seen this right here, it having the cluster, and we go down. Here we also are having a cluster. When we look at the previous cycle, we see the compression before it went up. And now we are getting the cluster way instead. To illustrate how this usually looks, because I've built this for the lower time frames, but it does the exact same thing on the higher time frames. Simply see it having a cluster, it having a cross, and we see how price reacts to it. Here again, we had a cluster where the levels overlap with each other, and we get the big move towards the upside. Of course, I can simply go back all the way in time. When it clusters, it just moves. So, guys, without more being said, I hope you guys liked the video. If you want me to look at altcoins, for example, give me a shout, because for now I won't. I want to keep it very simple and only look at ETH and BTC. But if you guys want me to chart any altcoins, I will gladly add them here to the watch list. So we monitor them and we also look at those on a daily basis. So that was it for now. Have a great day, and like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys tomorrow.